comes to the fact that they can't get any wins from legislative victories very often. They have to have the courts to, institute their progressive agenda of reinterpreting what the Constitution says. Go ahead.
Well, that's exactly right, and I think that their biggest fear is that Kavanaugh will defend the precedents of Heller versus D.C., which is a Second Amendment case, and they're more afraid that they won't have the ability to violate citizens' gun rights. They're more afraid that they won't have that ability than they are of actually losing Roe, losing that type of So they're using the anger of their voters. And I think they're tricking them. I think they're really trying to make them believe that this is a Roe versus Wade thing, and that's why they keep pushing it. And they're not saying much about the Second Amendment because here's the thing, Paul. When it comes to leftists rallying and fighting for causes, abortion is the biggest one. They will rally much more and much stronger than they will for Second Amendment stuff. So I think what they're trying to do is use that anger to keep. They were trying to use it to keep Kavanaugh off the bench because of off the Supreme Court rather, because they want to be able to have a little more access to destroy the Second Amendment.
Did you see the people that were clawing at the Supreme Court doors? Like, I don't know, just they were mad. They were just crazy.
And that's the thing, we try to logically talk to these people, but having a conversation with some of these people, you can see the irrational, reactive, emotional, behavior, and having a conversation is, about as with leftists most of the time is about as comfortable as, snuggling a porcupine.
That's exactly right. Hey, what do you think about the potential for these midterm elections, all this stuff? What are you hearing? I mean, you're up in New York, right? New York State?
Yeah, I'm in New York, and we have a very liberal governor, two very liberal senators. You might know, you may have heard of Chuck Schumer.
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
And but what I'm hearing, upstate New York is completely different than New York City, and people get the two mixed up. They really, when they hear New York, they think of New York City, which is liberalville, but it's not like that up here. We have plenty of Republican voters up here, so I always believe that we have a chance. And the energy for conservative values up here in upstate New York is huge, and they'll never let you know that, but it is.
Yeah. So, I guess I've heard from folks who are at jobs. This is across the country. They kind of, there's a lot of honesty, I think, being talked about. I guess what I am hearing is, normally you don't talk religion, you don't talk politics because it's taboo.
Yeah.
But I think people are starting to talk politics more. I think they're starting to. I think there's things going on that are so concerning, whether it's the media being so anti-Trump, or whether it's the fact that, hey, this says a lot about our society if we're just going to have accusations about what somebody's high school yearbook, what kind of innuendo it was or wasn't making, and that's going to mean that you're not going to be able to get on the Supreme Court. I think it's concerned a lot of people, and some people, Democrat, independents, they're now saying that they're going to vote Republican straight down the ticket because they are so disgusted with what they are seeing. Do you think that is going on other places?
Well, I think there's a lot of logical people, and there are logical thinking people on the left. And, when people see that their rights and due process can be taken away from them, some of them do realize that, well, hey, this could be turned around, and this could work against me. So I do believe that there are people who are coming to their senses. But here's the problem. A lot of them on the left are locked in, and people can't understand why. Well, without, don't you see what's going on? Can't you see? Why are you still there on the left promoting this and going for? Well, they're locked in because they've been conditioned to fear and hate conservatives, Republicans, and they would never be able to come over to the right, even if their values were to change. Mm-hmm. They have burned that bridge, and that ship has sailed for them, so they're stuck.
Yeah, that is certainly the case of some. You do also have this walkaway movement. You're familiar with the walkaway movement, where people are the Democrats are saying, I'm walking away from the party. I mean,
I am very familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kanye West on SNL giving his speech saying that welfare was really a plot of the Democrat Party to divide the black family. A week later, you have the UFC fighter Derek Lewis, that says a black guy that says that Donald Trump called him before the fight and asked him to knock this Russian expletive out because they're making him look bad on the news. Then you had another UFC fighter, Lentz is his name. He comes out right after he wins. Joe Rogan asks, so, what do you think? And he says, first of all, I want to thank, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to thank God. No, he's like, I just want to give a shout out to, my homie Brett Kavanaugh, Special K, way to go. There's a big shift happening in pop culture, I think, potentially. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, and people kind of gravitate toward one side or the other because it's hard to be in the middle. I don't know how anybody could really be in the middle. I mean, I understand some people share values of, some people share some liberal values and some conservative values, and it must be very frustrating. But it's been so polarized that people, I don't know how you can do that. I mean, I actually have a friend who I was just talking to yesterday, and we were talking about this, and he has some left-wing values, some right-wing values, but it's so difficult. So I think what happens is people will just gravitate toward one side or the other because it just feels better. It feels easier. And so I think that's what's happening. I look at Taylor Swift. She came out with some, crazy left-wing position, and I think she did it just because of the pressure over there. There's a ton of pressure in the music industry, in the movie industry, and they know that there's a ton of pressure. And these people want to continue to work, and they want to continue to make money. So this is what we have to stop. We have to be able to help people who want to come over to the conservative side. Help them know that it's okay, it's safe over here, and we will welcome them. There's some that just can't be helped, and they need to be defeated. So I guess it's a balancing act. But the left-wing propaganda is just way too corrupt, and they really have sunk their teeth into these people, and it's just a shame.
Well, and they they have no problem putting out these accusations. And then you have I was watching this video with Nancy Pelosi. We're talking with Dan Wass, National Second Amendment advocate. He's the author of Good Gun, Bad Guy. You need to check it out. You can go to goodgunbadguy.net. I was watching this video of Nancy Pelosi, and I know, why was I doing that? And she was essentially saying, she was admitting of a tactic. I can't remember what she called it. It escapes me at this point. But she was essentially saying, you make the accusation, you get the media to write about your accusation, and then the politician comes back and references the media report, where, and it's a way to deceive people. It's a way to form a narrative that's not really there, or the narrative that's there, but the facts are missing from it because it's just based on accusations. And that's exactly the tactic that we saw during the Kavanaugh situation, and that's what we see when they try to take your guns away. They come up with these statistics that are phony, and then that are cited by a politician, but then the media parrots them and writes them, and now you have the report to back up, and it's just it's hard to figure out where the truth is.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with the Russian dossier. That was the same cycle that they used, and then they'll have the media reports to use as verification or justification, and it's a false report because they actually encouraged that report. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's just a terrible thing. They do it all the time with Second Amendment stuff, with gun rights. And, the truth is, guns are used 2.5 million times per year to save lives in America, and they don't want you to know that. And, so the propaganda will tell you, the guns kill 30,000 people a year. Well, if you take out cop killings, good guys killing bad guys, and you take out suicides, you're left with about 5,000 which is tiny when you compare it to even drunk driving. Drunk driving is deaths related to drunk driving is 10,000. It's twice as much as any type of gun-related homicides. But they don't really want to save lives. They're only concerned with saving lives where a gun is involved, because the real thing that they want to do is restrict good, law-abiding citizens of their gun rights. And you have to ask yourself, why is it that the most violent people in our country are the ones that are trying to restrict gun rights of their opposition?
That is a great point. The leftists, their mob tactics, Antifa. Can you imagine if we were not armed as conservatives? What a deterrent.
Exactly.
Dan Wass, I got one more question before we go.
Sure.
Just prediction, and what are your feelings? Do the Democrats take the House? Yes, no?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we got a good chance, but that doesn't mean that Republicans can get lazy. We have to get out there and drag our family members and our neighbors and anybody that we can. If they need a ride, bring them, because we need the vote. Every vote is important. Every vote is needed. I do think we'll come to the table and we'll make it happen, though.
Dan Wass, I appreciate it. It's always